Yo, Astroforger here. I'm gonna be real with you right away. If you have Aemeath, Galbrena becomes way more of a preference pool than people want to admit. And if you plan to pull Aemeath before February 26th, then pulling Galbrena is honestly kinda weird. But Galbrena is still strong, and she's got something Aemeath doesn't: flexibility. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the real answer: must pull, skip, or depends, and exactly why. Here's the core issue. Galbrena is a fusion DPS, and Aemeath is also a fusion DPS, except Aemeath's ceiling is higher. So the question becomes, why would you pull Galbrena for your account if you already own the strongest fusion lane option? And it gets even more important because Aemeath is up right now and ends February 26th, and Galbrena reruns start February 26th. So if someone say, I skip Aemeath but I'm pulling Galbrena, bro, if your goal was I want fusion DPS, you skip the better one. That's why I call it weird. Now, this is where people misunderstand me. I'm not saying Galbrena is bad. She's strong, she's meta available, and she can fit into multiple archetypes because her damage split between echo skill damage and heavy attack damage. So she makes sense if you skip Aemeath and still need a top tier DPS, or if you're pulling for playstyle and preference, or if you value flexibility more than highest ceiling. Because yes, Aemeath can be played with different units, but she shined the most with premium partner. Galbrena can perform well in more team shell, including more accessible one, and that matters depending on your account. Now let's talk about the argument people use to justify Galbrena even if they have Aemeath. They say Galbrena buff echo skill damage, or she works with Fulova because Fulova like echo skill stuff. And I agree, Galbrena can work in that space. But here's my honest take. If you have Qiuyuan, Galbrena becomes harder to justify for that role, because Qiuyuan already covers a similar enabler Fulova angle for many accounts. And even beyond that, if your goal is pure echo skill or puppet value, then the best eco-centric direction is still Fulova first, not Galbrena first. So again, Galbrena is good, but she's not automatically the best answer just because echo skill words are in her kit. Now, this is what I do give Galbrena full credit for. She's not one trick, she has multiple real teams. If you want to play Monofusion, Galbrena plus Lopa plus Monya is a strong direction depending on what you own. And if you're talking current Monofusion meta selling, yes, Aemeath tends to be the bar, but Galbrena still function as a strong carry option in fusion teams. If you want an echo skill damage team, one of the clean setup people run is Galbrena, Qiuyuan, and Shorekeeper. If you want an heavy attack team, Galbrena, Luno, and Shorekeeper is a strong option that leans into her scaling. And if you want a more accessible heavy attack team, you run Galbrena, Mortefi, and Varena. Alright, quick build, no fluff. For Echo set, you're usually running the Flaming's Wing Shadow and Flaming's Claw Print split setup. For main Echo, you want Corosaurus. For main stat on 4 cost, you go crit rate or crit damage depending on what you need. On 3 cost, you go fusion damage. On 1 cost, you go attack percent. For skill priority, you want Forte Secret first, then Resonance Liberation, then Normal Attack, then Resonance Skill, and lastly, Intro. Now, let's talk weapon. Galbrena's signature weapon is Lux and Umbra, and it's still her best in slot and gives her the cleanest scaling. But here's the nuance people miss. She actually has a standard 5-star pistol option in phasic homogenizer, and it synergizes well with her dual scaling. That means she doesn't suffer from a no good alternative problem, so her weapon situation is better than it first looked. However, her ceiling still benefits heavily from optimized weapon and ecostat. So she's not a weapon luck, but she is investment sensitive. And as for other alternative weapon, there's the Last Dance, Static Mist, and for 4-star, there's Solar Flame. Alright, here's the verdict. Galbrena is a must pull if you skip Aemeath and can't get her and you still need a top DPS, especially for fusion lane, or if you generally love Galbrena play style, or if you're willing to invest properly and you're okay chasing her weapon to max comfort. You should skip Galbrena if you already have Aemeath, or if you're pulling for her and you're trying to be efficient, or if you already have the piece for your eco skill teams without needing Galbrena as a bridge. And it depends if you want a second fusion carry for variety, or you're building multiple teams and you value flexibility over ceiling, or you just like her and you're fine with that being the reason. Because the truth is, if you have Aemeath and Qiuyuan, Galbrena becomes a preference pool, not a needed pool. Let me know in the comment, do you have Aemeath? Are you pulling her before February 26th? And if not, are you grabbing Galbrena as your fusion carry? If you want more tested pool value vids and real teams recommendation, drop a like, subscribe, and as always, forge to win.